My name is Dean Franza, and this is the elementary school. I have a job up here for the cooperative work experience, and today we're going to show you around some of the various job sites. We're going to start off here at my job in the office. This is the elementary school office, and over here is my supervisor, Mrs. Quenga, and Jan Bunch also works here too, and she's at the desk doing a bus count. And would you like to say anything?
Yes, I would like to let you know what the CWE students here in the elementary school does. I have Dean Franz and Jan Bunch on my right, and they are trained to file communications received according to our DOTS-A system, and answer the telephone and take messages and ensure that they are correct and deliver messages to the students before school is out. Dean also assists Mr. Bozeman in the leisure time program on Fridays. Students are being taught how to assemble models. Jan also assists in the leisure time program in the absence of the instructor. Both students are shown how to operate the machines in the office and ensure that the classroom teachers receive whatever letters to be sent home and counted, and assist students when they are injured, give ice, tape, wash off the whatever injury the kid has, and also assist the classroom teachers whenever they request assistance. I would like to say that the CWE students, Dean and Jan, are trained to be reliable and dependable in the operation of this elementary school. Thank you.
And over here, this is Mr. Daly's office, but he must not be disturbed right now because he's in a conference, so we can't get to him. Anyway, some of the other stuff around here. This is where we do our filing, all the notebooks on the table there. Over here is our filing cabinet where all the records are kept and other odds and end paperwork. And over there, that's a refrigerator where we give out all the ice to the injured students. So now I'll give the mic over to Jan so she can give you an idea of what she does.
Well, see, I'm really busy right now. This has to be done, so.
Jan, what did you do before you came to work here in the office?
I worked in the dental at dispensary, but I came here because they didn't really need a lot of help at the time, so here I am.
Okay. I used to work in the first grade class, helping the teacher there with activities for the kids and things like that. And I've spent about the last 2 months working in here, doing various reports and so on. This is Mr. Daly, the principal here at the elementary school, and he's more or less my main boss. Ms. Quenga's my supervisor, but he gives her a lot of things to tell me to do also. So would you like to say anything?
Yeah, how are you enjoying the work here? What have you learned?
I've learned how to file, how to use a copier machine, and how to do a little bit of typing, answer the phones.
That's good. You think any of this training will ever carry over into any other work in your adult life?
It should, yes. It's if I ever work in an office, it'll become real useful.
Sure. Okay. Well, I can see the filing, the typing, and the use of office machines should be very helpful. And you've done a real fine job, too.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to security now with Rob Miner. NAS Bermuda Security Building on this breezy afternoon. We're going to drop in on Rob Miner and see what he's doing. Okay, this is Bob Miner here at security. And Bob, what do you do here?
Well, mostly what I do here at security, I'm just more or less an observer with the patrol officers, and just mostly observe what everybody does around security, such as disturbances, which we have one right now, which 2 of our patrol officers and our lieutenant has responded to, which there's nobody here at the moment, except a few personnel. And one of them, with our secretary, Nancy, is in the office here. Would you like to say a few words?
I am the secretary here for the security department, and Robert came to us about, 6 months ago, and he is our student worker. He goes on patrol with our people, and he answers the phone here for us occasionally, and we have enjoyed having him here, and if he were to come back again next year on the student program, we would like to have him again.
Okay, what I wanted to ask you, Rob, is all this in the display cabinet, was that confiscated here?
Yeah, this is all confiscated material over a period of time, which they have collected and they have put on display. And what types of devices are used for smoking cannabis, which is marijuana, hashish, and other types of organic material, which we have another display, which is down in the hallway here. So we have on the top shelf, we have several pipes, and we also have a 35 millimeter film canister, which was used for containing marijuana and other narcotics. We have firecrackers, which we have also here on display, bullets, which are on display, and also we have down here some roach stones, which are designed for smoking marijuana cigarettes.
Rob, what else do you do here in the security department?
Okay, what I mostly do here also in security department, I work with the canine patrol, which is actually customs. All right, what their purpose is down here is that if we have a plane that comes in, such as out of Norfolk, Jacksonville, or anywhere on the East Coast, what we do is bring the dogs, frisk the people on the plane, take the people off the plane, and run the dogs through the plane to search for any narcotics or any other type of drugs that might be stashed on the plane or within the luggage or anything else. The other type of job I also do down here at security is work with patrol officers. What I mostly do with them, that is, I just ride around with them, observe their, how could I say it, the way about they go doing things, such as writing out tickets, also as in the procedures of stopping somebody, disturbances, and other matters that just might happen to pop up. And the third job I actually do down here is I dispatch. I mostly sit around the office, answer the telephone, take messages, and also dispatch messages over the radio, such as a call would come over where we would have to have one of the patrol officers respond to a call. I would get on the radio, transmit the message to the patrol officer, and he would also just mostly respond to the incident. Dean?
Thank you very much, Rob. Our next stop's going to be at PWD, where we'll see Aaron J. Aaron had an appointment this afternoon, so we could not get him for you. But anyway, we have his supervisor here, Mr. Maddox, and I'm going to ask him a couple questions. What does Aaron do here at the shop?
We've been familiarizing him with different types of machinery, and we have a wood craftsman here that works in the shop all the time, And I've had him working with him, and he's been teaching him the different kind of joining, some cabinet work and some field work. And as it is right now, he's an excellent student. As far as safety and workmanship, he has built on his own a punt for his dad's boat, and it's come out very well. And that's about it right now.
What is the function of the shop?
We support the maintenance Department of Public Works in maintaining the buildings, installing broken doors, windows, repairing roofs, siding, building things like the air show. For instance, we had support and build all the booths for those. The Navy Ball, we had to build all the props for that, and other related items to Public Works Department.
Okay, thank you for your time this afternoon. We've found Aaron DePertis, who works here in the Carpenter shop.
Oh, you want me to tell you what I do in here? Okay, I go out, work on chits whenever they tell me to go out, do whatever they say in the shop, make whatever they say. Like last time, well, about a month and a half ago, I made a punt for my dad, and that's about it.
Why don't you show me some of your machines here and how they operate?
This machine right here is a planer for planing the thickness of wood. It's 24 inches wide, and it goes to about that deep, however deep it does go. And you crank it up by that little thing over there, and there's a little scale on the other side that tells you. Yeah, step back. There's a little scale right here that shows you what the thickness is you're planing off. And it'll take off to 32nd of an inch, or 64th of an inch.
How old do you think it is?
Oh, God. Ancient. Well,
that's where let's go. What's that chimney for?
that collects the sawdust, goes out through over here, goes into a little bend over there.
Did you ever have to clean the bin up?
No, it does it itself.
You're lucky. What's this used for?
Well, it drills square holes.
Square holes.
Square holes.
Why does it drill square holes?
It's so when you place one board inside of another, you don't have to notch it out with a chisel. You just drill it out, and it sets right down inside.
Okay. Got a lot of extra blades, I see.
Those are for that.
Yeah, what about this?
This is a 36-inch bandsaw. Got this one down pat. That's what those blades are for. It goes from a 1/4 of an inch blade to 1.5 inches, I believe. And it cuts. It'll cross-cut, rip, do any kind of design you want on it. And it's got big drum things in it. Voila. Drum spins, motor's on the other side. It's got a little brake. So I got this one down. Here's your brake lever. Move this up and down by unloosening it over there. See? Got that one.
Use that one a lot?
It's the most abused machine around.
I was working in a shop with all this equipment. You'd have to have a lot of safety procedures, huh?
Yeah.
Anybody ever get hurt, you know of?
No.
Safe people, huh?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. What table saw?
Yeah, what about this table saw here?
Well, it can be used for ripping. This is the ripping fence. Over here on the walls, different blades and miter boxes for it. Okay, now the miter boxes are the things with the long bar with little numbers right around the side. You can put it at any angle from 0 to 90.
That's those things down there?
Yes. And they cut a 90-degree angle, 45, just about any angle that you can get between 0 and 90. The blade above it's just an old spare. It's kind of messed up, but they keep it.
It goes on that machine we're talking about behind you, right?
Yes.
Going around looking where it hooks up, show me.
It goes underneath there. this is a radial arm saw. It does basically the same as the table saw. The only difference is this one does not be moved around as much. It mainly stays at 90 degrees, which it's set up now. But you can bring it out. You can rip with it up to about that wide, and you can set it at any angle you want without ever having to use any gauges or anything, and then you just pull it across the wood.
What's the noise level in here? I imagine it would be pretty high, huh?
No, it's not loud at all.
What about if you get everything running at once?
Well, when you turn on the blower, it gets loud in here. You cannot talk with it on.
Why don't you try the blower? Okay, that'll wrap things up with Aaron here in the Carpenter shop. Anyway, we're outside of the base photo lab where Mark Hennenberger worked last year, and this year David Brunson works here, so we're going to step in and see how he's doing. We're inside of the photo lab where David Brunson works, and here he is now. And Dave, what you're going to do is tell us what you do here.
All right, this is the photo lab, and first thing I do, I introduce my fellow workmate. This is Don and Suman.
All right.
And Don, this on the air, I guess.
I'm on the air. All right, this is our full lab here, and I'd like to introduce to you the rest of our crew. We have PH2 Minnow Patton. Minnow's from
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. I'm from San Diego, California. And coming up here is Doug Havens. Doug, step up here and show us what it's at. Doug is from
Illinois.
Well, that's pretty close. St. Louis, right?
No, Illinois.
Okay, we're all PH2s. We're with Squadron here, and down from Maine for about 5 months. Going to be leaving here pretty quick. As far as the full lab itself, it is in pretty normal shape now, and we'll give it to Dave here and see he can ask the specific questions that he needs to ask.
All right, I was doing some prints in the darkroom here, and this is. Oh, well. Okay, well, the first thing I did, right, I had 3, shots on a negative, right? And I picked out the, the best shot, in case any of them had eyes closed or, whatever. And then went back into the dark room and, focused, put it in the larger, focused it, and set the f-stop and the time, and now we could go back into the dark room. All right.
You can't hear me talking. You're not telling me.
Okay, well, I believe he's cutting some.
Okay, what I'm doing here is getting ready to mount some slides. The reason I wear the gloves is because fingerprints, and this is a direct positive, and it's a slide. We shine it on the screen, and these are for a photo lecture that we're preparing for the squadron. What we do is we just cut them up and we put them in slide mounts, and we're ready for the presentation.
And that's that.
We're going to follow you right in there. Watch the cords here.
All right. Okay, now we're in the dark room, and Don's going to give us a little talk about what he's doing.
I'm trying to print a job for Combat Wing 5. It's a safety stand down of a group of men, ground crew, all ground crew that were trained through the aircraft out on the line here. So I shot pictures yesterday. And all those now, the prints are I'm going to make and go back to them and to some of the little smaller commands and to the CO of our squadron. These are our heads here, and the easels we use. We have 4 of them, or 3 of them, and we print here a little bit. We run the film through our 417. It runs the prints through, and we'll develop, stop, and fix them, and wash them, dry them in about a minute.
You have a machine that does that.
Right, it's right here. This is it. It's a good little gem, about $8 grand, but it works great. This is our big deep sink here for all hand line runs, prints that are made by hand. We'll put our prints in our 11 by 14 trays like this with a developer, stop and fix and then wash. And the developer is all kept at the same temp inside of the sink that we can fill up. And it leaves it's the wet side where you can clean up and splash around. You won't really get all the stuff on your machinery here. Right here we have what is called an 8 by 10 head that can enlarge negatives that are 8 by 10 in size. And so those negs, which we get very few of, are basically say negs that we have to shoot charts on or something that, right, and sometimes like that, which need really large blow-ups to 20 by 24 or mural type.
Okay, now we're in the portrait room, and Mendel Patton is going to show us a few things on how to take portraits.
Okay, thank you, David. Believe it or not, we in the Navy try to keep abreast of what's going on in the commercial and civilian world, too. Here we have just your basic portrait studio, and if you'd like, take the mic, I'll explain how. Start by placing the subject in the right position to be able to take his photograph. Could you stand up just for a second? Okay, and the next thing we do is adjust the background and the main light by cutting off this fill light right here. And we have our lights on roller, so it's a lot easier to work with. So then we check in here and then adjust our backlight accordingly, or move the camera in a position. And this way it's too far to the right of the subject. So we'll bring it back around, and we have correct. We want it to kind of graduate from a light to a dark up to the top of the picture behind him, so it'll give a little contrast in the final product. So could you sit up real straight? Can you bring your chin right into the camera here? All right. Okay, looks good. So when we're all ready, okay, you can smile if you want to. All right, it's not ready to go yet. We'll give it a shot. Okay, right here. Still not ready to go yet. What's going on? Okay. Have to make sure the camera's ready, and great. Did the flash go off? Yes, sure did. Great.
And that is a brief instruction on how to take portraits.
Okay, thanks, Dave, for the exciting view around your photo lab here where you work. And that's going to wrap it up from here. Now we're going to have to go move someplace else.
Franza, our local reporter for today, is not available. My name is Daren Mayeaux, and we are reporting at the post office at US NAS. We are now going to see Larry Bucher. Here we have Larry Bucher at the post office. How you doing, Larry?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, mail's coming just in right now, and we got a lot of mail to, so we'll forward out to the unloading and loading dock. Okay.
Okay, what kind of mail is this? Is these packages here?
Packages, letter mail, and all boxes, and it's all coming from the U.S.
I presume that the dogs come here all the time because they started barking when the truck came in. Is that true?
They come here once in a while. I think it's a once in a month basis. I'd have to check. They haven't been here in a while, but they usually come check for dope and stuff like that. So.
Does these packages come in same time every day?
Well, it depends. If you get a lot of mail in, then it comes in different times. Like today is the late. It's coming in at 2:30. Usually they got it in here about 2 o'clock if there's not too much mail. And
so what do you have to do right now? Do you have to sort these out?
This here is for supply, right?
Yeah.
So we got different carts. It's Navy Exchange, we got personal mail, and we got supply mail, and just put in the different carts separated.
So I presume you write something so they won't get mixed up, right?
Yeah, on the personal mail only. You write your box number, you write a Julian date, which is like today's the 24th. What's the Julian date today? 144 is the Julian date, so that stands for May 22nd.
Oh, great.
You take your
I'm going to turn around. Listen.
Okay, these are a whole bunch of crew, a hard-working bunch of people here. This is my boss, sort of. his name's Mr. PC1 Minor, right? Okay, yeah. You could introduce him, the rest of the bunch, or?
Okay, this is Petty Officer Notre Angelo, PC2. This is Seaman Tice. She also works here. Petty Officer Spurlock in the truck, diligently working that mail there. And we have a couple other people that are doing different things right now.
Okay, well, there's a lot of mail going on, so
Excuse me, I gotta get
yeah, a lot of mail going on. So I'll see you.
Boy, that guy is a real hard worker, don't you think? Okay, now we're finished at the post office. We're going to our next site. Hi, here we are at Roger B Chaffee High School. We're going to see Kelly Murtagh, who's the chemistry assistant for Mr. Hasselbring.
Hi, my name is Kelly Murtagh, and I work in the chemistry classroom as a teacher's aide. Sixth period, I work with the 7th graders in the math class, and I help them out with any of their problems, grade tests, and run errands for Mr. Hasselbring. And 7th period is a chemistry class, which is in there now, and I help them out to grade tests, run errands. I set up experiments also for them in there, and sometimes it lets me do them too. And today he's giving a lecture on pH and logarithms and trying to teach them all about that.
10 to the 6th power, which is what? How many zeros? 1 million times as strong as pH 1. pH 3 is 1 tenth of 2 times weaker as that than pH 1.
Here we are at the plumbing shop where Phil Ott works. And Phil Ott will introduce all the things in the plumbing shop. Would you come over here, Phil? Give us some words.
Hello. My name is Phil Ott. I work up at a plumbing department, as you can see here. And today I'm going to give you a little demonstration of how we take and use the threading equipment.
That sounds very good. Shall we approach this?
That sounds great. Let's go.
Oh shit! What's going on here? Excuse me.
Yeah, great. I like that.
Wide angle lens.
All right, Daren. This is one of the pieces of equipment that we use. One of the rigid models of all it does is take and cut and thread pipe. This is the cutting, what we call the cutting wheel here. And this is, once you start threading, you put this down. This is oil comes through that now. What the oil's used for is to cut down friction, gives you better threads. Here you have the cutting threads, and they take and cut into the pipe, and they're adjustable. You can take and lock them in place and take and change them to any size. This one here takes from 1-inch pipe to 2. And you just move it out of the way when you're either cutting with this, use that as the cutting, or what we call reaming, is after you finish cutting, you just take and put that forward and you turn the machine on, you just go in forward, and what it does is take the burrs out. Now I'm going to show you how we just take and cut a piece of pipe the way we want it. Yes, as simple as that. You got to go kind of slow on the cutting, because if you do it too fast or crank it down too hard, you'll take a dent the pipe. So here we go. Now we got to take and ream it.
When you say reaming, what is reaming really about?
Okay, reaming is, if you notice how it takes and bevels in the edge right here, what it does is actually help the die, this is what they call the die here, to help catch the beginning of the pipe better. And also when you're taking, like, you get it screwed into a fitting, that way debris or anything will not catch onto burrs that are on the inside from the cutting process. Now I'm going to take and show you how to take and thread the copper pipe. This is 1-inch copper pipe, by the way. So I'm going to just put this down, bring it in close, and take and lock it down. Take and put the oil down.
What's the oil?
Okay.
What do you mean when you put the oil down?
Okay, like I said earlier, the oil is to take and cut down friction, so the threads will be a lot better during the threading process. If you don't use oil, then you'll smoke sometimes that come up and cause bad or irregular threads, because threads have to be perfect in order to fit, or you're going to have a lot of problems. So now I'm going to take and do this thing here. On this machine, all you have to do is catch it, and you can let it go by itself. As you notice, it's totally automatic. Now here you see that we got a lot of burrs on here. What we usually do is take a rag, excuse me here. Take a rag and just take and pluck them off.
Does the oil get reused, or?
Yes, it's regenerated. There's a small pump that's inside, and it just keeps going on and on. And the way we keep the stuff out is with this catch basin right here. You can see all the oil that's in there. So this just catches all the chips and stuff, and once it's filled, we just throw it out. And there you go. That's how you take a thread pipe.
All right, thanks, Phil. What's the purpose of threading in plumbing?
Well, you see, Darren, this machine here is supposed to take and just thread the pipe, and the reason for threading pipe is in the construction of, like new houses or stuff. You take and have to thread pipe so you can put fittings on the end and take and connect things together. Like when I go out on work, what I used to do is in new housing, we used to work on the boilers and stuff, and you have to take and thread the pipe and connect the fittings and connect them actually to the fixtures.
Okay, now would you want to introduce some of your friends here and worker mates?
Harvey, come here. Come here. Come on, John. All right, come here.
What do you need?
All right, this is John Harvey here. He's one of the plumbers. Say a few things here.
About what?
About plumbing.
What do you want to know?
It's Parks here. What are you doing there, Parks?
I'm on vacation, man.
And this is Charlie Thee over here. He's one of the heaters.
Supervisor today.
Supervisor.
Right.
All right.
Supervising today.
That's it for Phil, and now we're going to move on to our next work site. Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome. Take it easy.
All right. Here we are at our next work site, where we're going to see Sean Cavello, who works in the auto mechanic department. Here we are with Sean Cavello, and I believe he's going to take us around and show the different things he does today. Okay, Sean, tell us a little bit about your work here.
Well, we repair all the Navy vehicles that come in, and whatever needs done, they do it.
Okay, could you tell us a little bit about these vehicles and what's happening to them right now?
That truck that you see back there had a muffler put on it, And as you can see, they have 3 different types of jacks. The hydraulic jack, and this one used with the air compressor. And right here you have an engine.
The guy in the green suit down there, what is he doing?
All right. He repairs the tires, and all the big trucks and all the small cars. He fixes all the tires on them, puts new tubes in them, or patches the tubes, or just fixes the tires with no tubes.
And that you just started here, how you like it so far?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's only my 4th or 5th day working here, and I haven't learned too much, but I'm slowly learning.
What do you do? Just observe most of the time and try to catch on to different things?
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sean, for giving us this interview here. Yeah, we're going on to our next work site. Rick Mallory works as a bookkeeper at the accounting office. Here we are, and Rick, would you tell us about your job?
Not really, but what you want me to say? Well, right now I'm just posting into the ledger, right? You gotta take these purchase orders and post into the ledger. You put it right here, and where it says 650 and X2, you put the total right here. See, watch. Okay, all I've been doing for the year is mainly posting, right? That's what you see right here. That's what I'm doing. All right. And we have 4 beautiful young ladies around here, and this is over here we have Jeannie. Aiken. Jeannie Aiden. Hi, man. Go over to
can't. It's only so far.
Over here we have Mrs. Green. That's David's mama, see? David Green.
Oh, yeah.
And over here we have Terry. Terry, right. Terry. She wants to say something. Go over to her. We have all red and bloodshot is Missy. She doesn't do that much work. So.
Been here a short time, but he's been reliable. He's quiet. But what can you say when you're working in an office with 4 other women?
Yes, you're at time.
Yes?
Yes, he does.
He does.
You sure this is Rick Mallory?
Yes.
Okay, here we are, closing here at the recreational service of Rick Mallory.
We're at the US NAS dispensary where Rebel Welchman works, and we'll go see how he's doing. How you doing, Rebel?
Not bad.
What do you do here at the dispensary?
In this room right here, I do all the filing, writing names in, filing the photographs over there. Just typical filing work here.
Do you ever work with any of the patients?
Oh yes, take x-rays and different stuff like that.
What parts of their body do you x-ray?
Every part.
Okay, you want to show us the x-ray room?
Yeah, sure. This here is the x-ray room. This here is the x-ray room. This is the x-ray machine. Now we got it set up for a chest x-ray or a head x-ray, one of the two. This machine is set up now for the chest x-ray. The reason for it is you get better expansion and better, you can see the lungs through better if you're standing up.
So it's unclear to me that the person stands over there against that board, right?
Yes, right there.
Stands
This
over
way
there
is,
while the person stands.
this way you set it. Just like this right here. Well, like this.
And keep it close to him there.
All right. And if you'd want it on the table, that'd be usually for a leg, a foot, a finger, or anything like that. All right. And behind you over here is the machine that actually does the picture taking. This is all you get. This is the book. This is what's a PA, lat, oblique, gives you specific numbers. and everything so you can set it up perfect for the x-ray. Next, I'll show you the dark room. This right here is the cold and hot water meter. This is where you get your exposed and unexposed film from. You take it out of here when it has been exposed. Then you bring it over to this little widget right here. After you had put their name on the film, you'd place it into this shelf right here. From then, you go back over to here, take out yourself a film out of this drawer right here, comes out, place it inside, close it back, and put it back into the unexposed. And then you can walk out, just like this right here. And then you can walk over to this room right here and sit down, have a cigarette, and watch TV. And that's the end.
And this is what we do. This is demonstration, just sitting here and watching TV, right?
Right.
Well, I'm all refreshed now after changing my clothes and watching a little TV and taking a shower and everything. Right now we're out in front of the music room where Daren Mayeaux works here at the elementary school. And let's stop in and see how the music is today. Well, here's Daren here this afternoon, doing a little strumming on his guitar. How you doing today, Daren?
Pretty good, and yourself, Dean?
Oh, not too bad. I noticed your book there has got some about George Benson, huh?
Yeah. I just sight reading while the band's doing some practice, and I thought I'd do some little practice myself on the jobs.
Is it hard to practice with all that racket there?
Nah, you get adjusted to it, and after a while, it takes practice, and then once you get used to it, you don't hear them. You just block them off.
Well, I'll turn it over to you so you can let us know what you do here on your job.
All right, now we're going to walk over towards the band. I'm going to direct them in a song right now to show you what I do as far as song directing.
Okay, so let's go over there.
1, 2, ready, go. This is my job supervisor, Miss Laurene. Do you have anything to say?
Yes, I would like to say that Daren has been a very big help this year. He not only has helped with the regular rehearsals, but when the students have lessons and I work with one group, he works with another working on rhythms and different parts. He's a very independent worker. I don't have to worry about anything getting done. He always does it. I only have to ask once. And he's been a real asset to me this year. I'm going to miss him.
That concludes our visit here. Next, we'll be going to the supply department. And back of me is the NAS supply building where Laurene Francis works. So let's go in and see how she's doing. To my left is Laurene Francis, who works here in the supply office. And Laurene, I want you to show us what you do here.
Okay. Okay. Marie, she was supposed to be here. I want to introduce you to my supervisor, Marie Bartram, and she's the lady who I check into. She's the one who I check into, and she gives me what I'm supposed to do. And do you have anything to say?
Lauren has been working for the past few weeks with us, and this is the stock control section of supply. And she's been very helpful in filing status cards and storekeeper cards and matching up and showing us any discrepancies. She comes for an hour and a half, 4 days out of the week.
Okay, the people who I work with are Betty Reed. Betty Reed, you have anything to say?
No, I enjoy working with Lori. I've known her some time. Plus, previously I worked with her mother. So, like mother, like daughter. I so enjoyed working with Lori.
Okay, the other lady I work with is Connie Pasco. Nothing to say. Okay, that's all the one I work. Another lady I work with is Emmy. And do you have anything to say?
Just remind me of my school names.
And Pearline Fox. Anything to say?
It's nice working with Lori while she's here.
Okay. This is where I normally work is right in here. I take these storekeepers and match them up with. I take these storekeepers and match them up with the computer copies, which are awaiting storekeepers, and I take these, I unstaple them and make sure the numbers are matched up here and the quantity is matched. And then I just fold it back up and I put it in there. And then after it's in there and it's right in here, we put them in sequence and put them in these files in here. That's about it. Okay. Also in this open file, these cards on up the top of the dates, which is Julian dates, we take them and put them in here. We find the correct number, the correct date, and we take these cards and put them in a file.
It's a waiting receipt.
The waiting receipts.
I mean, to ask you, what is a Julian date?
The Julian date is, on the beginning of the dates is 4 numbers. The first one is a 3, which is 1983, and you could use 001 would be the first day in January. So it'd be 3001 would be January 1st, 1983. And all the dates have different numbers. Well, it's every day of the year has a number. It goes in sequence, 1, 2, 3.
What would be the last date of the year?
3/3/65.
Okay. This wraps it up in the supply office with Laurene Francis. Okay, so there you've seen it. This is the end of the 1983 Cooperative Work Experience Program for Roger B. Chaffee. I'm Dean Franza reporting for ZBM News.